it's just becoming too much. And so the reason why I say that it's trash is because these guys, they don't know what they want. Hi, my name is Vanessa, and welcome back to Sitting Outside. So, today we're going to be talking about the ways of dating. I might as well just jump right into it. But before I do that, if you are new to my channel, please subscribe and also hit the notification if you want to know when I upload a new video. And so this is my first time this year uploading. So happy new year to everyone who's watching. We're now into 2022. And so I'm excited and I'm looking forward to the things that are ahead. And so we've been in this pandemic for too long. And so I'm just really trying to keep the positivity going and just really hoping for new things this year. All right, let's jump in. So today we will be talking about these dating streets and the ways of dating. Um, it's, like I said before, it's rough out here. And all I got to say is dating nowadays is trash. Let's just pause on that because the reality of it is it's the ghetto. Who wants to be out here? So, being single is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. Like, I'm enjoying being single, learning about myself, healing myself, and just really finding out what I like by myself, because it's very hard to have someone in your space and you're trying to learn yourself. So I don't regret that at all. But I just have to be transparent where dating can be discouraging sometimes. And that's just the truth. It can be very discouraging because there are so many ways that people are dating nowadays. Like, you have people who believe in marriage, who don't believe in marriage, who want something casual, who's just looking to get something to eat. And it's really making it complicated out here for women and men. But for the women, when there are women who have different standards than other women, then it makes it hard for, I believe, the guy to understand how to approach a real woman. And so I'll be talking about that and I'll get into it a little bit more. But basically, what I'm saying is it's trash. Okay, so the first thing I want to kind of jump in on is what I believe dating is. So everybody knows that dating, well, everyone should know, is that dating is collecting data. But I think people are missing the whole idea of why you're collecting data. Yeah. Because I feel like people are collecting data, but they're doing it for the wrong reasons. And so when I go on a date, I'm collecting data to see if you can be a husband, a Christian man, God-fearing man. Can you lead? Can you take care of your own responsibilities as a single man? And so those are just only a few things that I'm looking for when I go out on dates. And so the last thing a woman like me is really thinking about is who's paying for dinner. That's that's the last thing I'm thinking about. Honestly, that's the last thing I want to think about, especially if I'm with a guy that I actually like, because it's not even about the dinner, and it's not about us paying for dinner. And so when we come up to the debates and the topics of who should pay for what, how about just plan something else? If you feel like taking me out to eat to an expensive restaurant is out of your range or something that you're willing to do, then plan something else nice. We can go hiking, we can do something, we can go bike riding or whatever you think will be enjoyable for us. Because at the end of the day, a lady just wants you to invite her into what it would be like to be in your space. So if you like food, if you like to go to certain restaurants, then invite that young lady out to a restaurant that you enjoy, and hopefully she enjoys it too, and you'll find that y'all can enjoy that together as y'all date. But if that's something that is out of your realm, then don't do it. If you like to exercise, y'all can go on go to the gym for a date. Because you just want to be in a space where you're able to gather that information and to learn about one another. It's not even that deep as far as like who's paying for what. Like, it's really not about that. And so that's where I think a lot of the confusion come in, is because people are just so tied in on what social media says a date is, or what society says a date is. But if you really get down to the foundation of why we are out here dating, then that wouldn't even be a debate. Okay, so let's rewind a little bit. Now that you know what I think dating should be, let's go back to the very beginning of this thing. When you exchange numbers, when you give him your number or he gives your whatever, when you do that process, okay? Let me explain why that's important. But I want to pause really quick because I want to share this story about a friend that I was talking to, and she was saying that she doesn't give her number out. She says that she gives her social media out. And that kind of took me back a bit, because I'm like, okay, we're going back the ways of dating. Like, I really wanted to understand what was the point of that. Because to me, if I give my social media out to a guy, I'm friend zoning him. I'm friend zoning him, and I don't want to get to know him. Social media is something that I don't surround myself with, or make my life around. So if I give you my social media, that's a limited contact to me, because I'm not on social media all the time. Also too, it's a place that everyone has access to me. You can literally Google nowadays and get somebody's social media. So if a guy is really intentionally trying to get to know me and date me giving my social media out is just disrespect. It's disrespect for the process and to that man who really wants to get to know you. And so I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it. So yeah, going back. So exchanging numbers. So the purpose of you exchanging numbers is, so, like I said, for that person to be in contact with you to start the process of getting to know you. So you have to give them some type of access to you. And so I think nowadays a lot of people, they struggle with being vulnerable and giving people access to them, maybe from past traumas or being hurt before, but they're hesitant on doing that. But if you really want to date and to do it intentionally, you have to be open to some type of vulnerability throughout the process. And then it starts with giving your number out. And so, I mean, thank God for the block. I mean, the block feature. You can block people number nowadays. You do not have to continue to communicate with them if that's something you don't want to do, or if they've crossed boundaries. So that's just my opinion on that. After you exchange the number, you want to talk to the person on the phone. If you have FaceTime, great. You can also FaceTime. But I think talking on the phone stage, or that talking stage, is what a lot of men are not utilizing to their advantage, or they're overutilizing that stage for their advantage. And so, but the purpose of that stage, the talking phase, is for you to start communicating. This is really where you are going to see how this person communicates. And you've heard over the years that communication is one of the keys of a relationship. And I kind of hesitated there because people have kind of upgraded that statement and said comprehension is. But we're not going to get into that. So, but yeah, the talking stage is very important. And it's very important that you ask intentional questions during that time. So, I mean, it's guys that get my number and we're talking on the phone, and they have nothing to say. Nothing. Like, what do you do? What did you do today? What like asking me no questions, not even what, like, okay, if I did eat something, did I cook at least? Don't you want to know if I cook? Or, you know, I told this one guy, I said, I could literally have a husband and 5 kids and you would not even know. Just based off the questions that he asked me. And we have been talking all week. And the time frame he called me. I'm like, how are you going to get to know me when you're not asking the right questions and you're not seeing if I am a good candidate to take out on a date? And so going back is the talking stage is very important, because that is the stage where you are able to determine if that young lady should be going on a date, and vice versa. If you're going to agree to go on a date. Because for me, I tell guys all the time, if I'm not feeling you, or if we have nothing in common, or if I'm not, interested, I'm not saying yes to a date. Because to me saying yes to a date, I'm giving you my time. I'm giving you my time, and my time is valuable. As young ladies, like, we get dressed up, we get our hair did and all that extra stuff, and we go out on these dates. And so if I'm not interested, I'm not doing all of that. I'm a grown woman who works, like, who cook. Like, I don't need to go for a free meal. I can cook. I got food at the house. So it's like, guys are missing it, especially if you have a quality grown behind woman. Like, you need to understand, like, saying yes to a date is a lot, especially for a grown woman. Because we're trying to get to know you better. And so that would be the initial yes to the first date. Once you get through the first date, the next thing is, are you going to say yes to the second dates? And like I said, make sure, like, the date is going to be, like, purposeful. Like, a lot of people are getting wrapped up in going out to eat, and I think it's just really taking the fun out of dating. And dating should be fun, and like I said, it should be things that you enjoy, and for you to be able to see, well, can I enjoy these things with the person that I'm going on a date with? And so again, it's been guys that took me out on expensive dates. We did like 3 things in one day, only for me to find out at the end that I wasn't even interested in him. And I'm saying that is because you don't have to do the most for a girl to know if she's interested. If she's mature and she knows what she wants, you don't have to persuade her at all. You just have to present yourself as you, and she's going to know if you're the man for her. It's not going to take a lot of money or extravagant dates or you doing 20 things in one day. It's not going to take all of that. She's going to know if you just be yourself, take her to a place that you enjoy, and like I said, hopefully you two can enjoy it together. And so, but yeah, we'll move on. So, one of the things that I have been struggling with while dating is being vulnerable. And so, I definitely want to bring up this topic because I feel like I'm not the only one. It's very hard to be vulnerable in a space, especially if you don't know if you can trust people, and people show up as their representative all the time. We live in a society where people can be who they want to be online, on social media, and they play games, especially guys, they play games just to get so far with a girl. And so it's so hard, especially for me, to be vulnerable with someone if I don't know their full intentions. And so that's definitely been a struggle for me, and something that I'm working through. But all I can say is is I just hope that guys will make it easier for women to become vulnerable. But you have to create that safe space for us. You have to be able to secure us, say what you mean what you say, be consistent, and things of that nature. And a woman is going to feel safe and she's going to be vulnerable with you. And so it's just very hard for me to come across guys who actually secure in their actions and give me security. And so still looking for that. And so it's rare. And that's the sad part. It's very rare to have a secure guy. Someone who's secure in his own identity, secure in his life and his lifestyle and his beliefs, and just, you know, stick by his words, say what he's going to do, plan accordingly, doesn't hesitate when it's, you know, time to take responsibility for certain things. And so actions like that is what shows a woman that you can be trusted and that it's a safe space to be. And then over time, that's how she becomes vulnerable. And so another challenge for me is waiting on God. That really should have been number one. I should have said that first. But waiting on God to send the right person for me. So I'm always in this debate of, should I be doing this or should I be waiting? Should I be out, you know, shooting my shot, or should I be sitting and waiting till the shot is shoot, whatever? But yeah, so I'm just always in this cycle of, God, do you want me to start dating intentionally, or do you want me to just kind of hold off and work on myself? It's always that ongoing, you know, thought process. And so you just never know. But I do believe God has created this man for me and that I'm going to meet him. I just don't know where God wants me to be in this process. And so I'm constantly seeking him and just praying and just seeing, hey, what do you want me to do in this season? Do you want me to chill out and focus on myself, or do you want me out in these dating streets? So we'll see. We'll see. Another struggle that I've been having is, so I don't know if I shared, probably didn't, but I was single for probably about 2 years or so before I started to date again. And so I've been single for 3 years now, and I am just now kind of getting back out dating, because I'll get out there and then I'll turn back around. Then I'll get out there and then I'll turn back around. So it's been like this back and forth where I'm dating and then I'm not dating. So, but I'm saying that to say this. I'm a little rusty out here. I'm a little rusty. I can't lie. Like when I'm on the phone or if I'm talking with a guy that I really like, I get nervous, I get anxious, and then I can just say the dumbest things. And and I'm like, geez, you're acting like you're 16 or something. And so I can be a little rusty. So that's one of the challenges that I've been trying to overcome, is just to relax and just enjoy dating. Like, enjoy it. You're doing something fun. You're out with someone that you like and could potentially be with. So just enjoy it. And so definitely want to encourage you all out there, if you are dating, enjoy it. Enjoy it. No matter if you're a little rusty like me, you don't know what to say, just know what, the foundation of it, your real intentions, and just have fun. Okay, so we can't talk about dating without talking about deal breakers. So I feel like, dating is one thing, but then you get to these deal breakers. And so at first I used to struggle with, is this a realistic deal breaker? Or if it's something that I should, kind of go with the flow on and just see how it goes. Well, one thing that I've learned is you can't see how it goes. You can't just, disregard your deal breakers, because they're there for a reason. And so I was talking with my cousin the other day, and he was like, he doesn't really like a girl that smokes, and but maybe he can kind of get up. And I said, no, cousin, no, don't do it. Don't do it. If smoking is a deal breaker, stick to it. Stick to it, because you're just gonna be miserable later on and overlooking things that is a deal breaker for you. And so we just have to stand on our deal breakers. But for me, just to kind of name some deal breakers, I would say if he doesn't have a relationship with God, he might as well just cancel it out. Don't even, like, if you're, atheist, or you have a different belief or faith, it's okay. It's okay. We can, I'm not against being friends with someone of a different faith. But in a relationship, I have to stand on it, because we will potentially have kids together, we'll have a family, and we'll be married. And so that is definitely something that is the foundation will be a foundation of my marriage. So can't budge on that one. Um, but yeah, another deal breaker for me, since I just brought this up, definitely smoking. Smoking, no. Um, and then I have so many deal breakers. I don't even know why I'm acting like I don't know. But one thing that I've come across that's been kind of a deal breaker for guys when they date me is, well, not too often, but I was talking to a guy who I was very much interested in. And so I am practicing abstinence. And so this guy was kind of, I guess, practicing. I'm not sure. But we talked about it, and he said that he wasn't willing to wait for marriage. And I'm waiting for marriage. Now, am I a virgin? I'm not. But I made my decision to practice abstinence, and that's what I want to continue to do until I'm married. And so for me, like, you hear all the time, like, people get married within like 3 6 months to a year. Like, when you know, you know. So it's not like you're holding out from sex forever. So I didn't quite understand that, but that's it hasn't been that much of a deal breaker, especially like if the guy is older. Like, I'm 31. And so like if the guys are like around 38 to 40, that's not a big deal for them. Not a big deal for them. This particular guy, he was around my age, and that just was a deal breaker. And it was unfortunate, because it's always hard to find someone that you have certain interests in, and then for that to be a deal breaker is like, what? But you have to respect everyone's deal breakers. And so we moved on, and that's just what it was. All right, so one of my final points here, that I definitely want to touch on with dating and the ways of dating, is starting again. And I feel like that's been a challenge for me, because like I said, I've been on and off probably for a year now. I've been on and off dating, and just getting the courage to say, you know what, it didn't work out so well. I met some crazy guys last time, but I'm gonna start again. I'm just going to build up the courage and start again. And so that's been the hardest part about dating, is really just refocusing and saying, hey, this is what I desire, and I'm going to stand on it. If I come across deal breakers, I cannot waver. I have to stand on it, but I'm willing to continue. And so, yeah, so that's been a challenge for me. But like I say, I'm willing, and I really have to pray sometimes to God and ask Him to give me the strength and the courage to date again. Because sometimes you talk with guys, and just like, for example, the abstinence thing, or waiting to marriage. When you come across so many guys, if you come across a lot of guys who are like, no, I'm not waiting, and then you stop dating, then you get discouraged. You're like, well, God, is anybody's going to wait for me? And so that's one side of it, of where I have to just kind of stand on my beliefs and what I desire, and just know that God created somebody for me who's going to be okay with waiting. He's going to be okay with all the other things that I mentioned. And so yeah. All right, so I'm about to wrap this up because we've been talking about dating for a little minute. But one of the things is to have you, I don't know what to call it, but like I guess like a support system or a mentor or something. You always want to have like a supportive person while you're dating, whether if it's friends. And I'm lucky, I have friends who are very wise. They're in the process, they're single, they're out here too, and they're going through the motions. And so they're really good for support because they know what I'm dealing with, and they're not immature. They're, we're like-minded individuals. And so it's always good to kind of touch bases. And then I do have like older friends who are married. And so that's kind of good to touch bases with them because they're able to give me some insight on, the end goal and what really matters while you're dating. And so it's always good to have those people while you're dating. So I want to encourage that. Okay, sure. So I am going to conclude there. This is the ways of dating. And so I'm pretty sure I'll check back in sometime this year and I'll tell you how my dating experiences are going. I'll probably share some stories. I haven't really went on a date this year, but I mean, it's still January, so we're still fresh in the year. So when I start going back on dates, I definitely will update you on my channel. So please subscribe, like this video. If you agree with a lot of things that I said, I'm open to any comments down in the comment section. Remember to be respectful, especially other people who are commenting, respect them as well. So I'll check back in with y'all later. All right, have a good one. Bye.